Now that you have finished drawing your final design, keeping in mind that it's very simple as we are not drawing it, but we are going to be using stitches, you are going to place your piece of tag board in the middle of your burlap, making sure that it's pretty even on all four sides. Now if you want to do yours landscape or portrait, either one is fine. But I'm going to place my piece of tag board in the middle. I'm going to hold it with my offhand, and with my strong hand, so my right, I'm going to trace my tag board. So we know the exact size of my artwork. Now you don't need to see it that well. You're not going to be able to see mine very well, but you just need to see it enough so you know where to do your border. So now I just have a guideline for where I'm going to do my running stitch. Once you've picked out your color, I chose a color that is contrasting so it will really stand out against the pink. I chose a light blue. I'm going to put my needle on my yarn, remembering to twist. I'm going to cut it as close to my fingers as I can, really pinching. And then I'm going to put the needle right on top, pull it through, having about a good 2 inches my needle. And I'm going to tie a knot at the bottom. You may need to tie a double knot with this thinner yarn so that it stays. Now we're ready for a running border. As you can see, we're going to go around the entire piece of burlap creating a border for our artwork. It is very important that our knot is on the back. So where your initials are, that's where you want to come up from. So this is the top. This is the front of my artwork. I'm going to start in a corner and I'm going to come up where those two lines, where this line and this line come together. And notice how, again, this knot is on the same side as my name. Now if you remember when we were practicing, we did 4 up, or 4 over, 4 under, 4 over, 4 under. Now for this, I'm actually going to do 4 over, 2 under, so that there's more yarn on top than there is at the bottom. There's not as many gaps in between. Now you can do 4 over, 4 under, you could do 4 over, 2 under, you can do kind of whatever you want as long as it's consistent. You're doing the same thing. So I'm going to start and go 1, 2, 3, 4 over. And 1, 2 up, under. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2 up. Trying to stay as close as you can to your pencil line that you already drew. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2 up. And see how I've started to create my border. I'm going to continue that and go all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2 up. you can see that I've done one side and I am approaching a corner. So I'm about to turn the corner. There are a few ways you can do this. You can do it above or over, but I went under, so I have to go up 2. Then I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Now instead of coming up here, I'm going to turn it and come up on my dotted line. So 1, 2, up. Then I'll continue. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. On that pencil line, 1, 2, up. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2, up. And you'll do that for each corner. You will go around square corner. You don't want round corners. You want 90-degree angles at each corner until you have a solid line or a dotted line, a running stitch around your border. Now, if you are ready, you have your border done, you've tied a knot in the back so that they're both secure, you're ready to start your design inside. So for this one I have a snowflake, and there's nothing I can really cut out. So for this, I could just pencil in some guidelines of where I want. So I want the top and the bottom of my snowflake here. I want the sides here. I'm just kind of re-sketching out my snowflake, keeping it nice and big so that I know where to put it. Okay? Now, let's say you have a shape or an animal or a leaf or something that you can cut out. So even though I'm not quite done with my border, I'm going to show you on this video, I would cut out my flower. This is the main part of my artwork, important shape that we want to make sure we're getting. So I'm actually going to cut it out and trace it on my burlap. I'm not going to cut the stem out because it's just going to be one line. I think I'm going to do the split stitch for that for my stem. So I don't need to, I can just draw that on there. I don't need to cut it out. But after you've cut out your shape or your leaf or your flower or your animal, whatever it may be, the sun, I know it's about here, then I can go ahead and I can trace it, giving myself some guidelines. Now it's not going to be totally exact when you're doing the burlap or when you're embroidering it, but you can give yourself some guidelines, drawing them on there, pencil, try not to move the burlap underneath, and that way you can see, I know it's hard to see in the video, but I can see my flower, I have an outline. Then I can go in and freehand my stem, and if I wanted to I could cut out my leaf or I can just redraw it. Then you can use as many colors as you want. You could start with something more simple, the split stitch going up here, then maybe I'll do the back, or just a running stitch around, and you have guidelines for you, for your help to follow it.